we're just gonna dig it out. Like
Casey,
dig it
can you hear
down,
us?
The trench material down 2 or 3 feet and just reconnect the whole thing. 'Cause
All right, we'd like to welcome everyone this evening to Mapleton City Council meeting on Wednesday, August 6, 2025. We have 4 of the council members present, and Casey Beck is with us by telephone. We will begin with an invocation by Councilman Carlson and led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Garrett.
Our Father in heaven, as we come before Thee at this time, we express gratitude and appreciation for the privilege to live in this city, this wonderful community, and this beautiful area in the heart of Utah. We ask as we talk about city business that we may do so with the citizens in mind and those things which is best for the situations that we might be in, to how to improve things and how to follow the rule of law. We also are grateful for many wonderful people who volunteer their time and efforts to work with the youth and to make this such a wonderful city and a wonderful place to live. We also pray for patience and guidance in all that we do. We also pray for the world at this time and the turmoil and the challenges that exist, that people might find a respite and a place to find peace in their lives. These things we ask in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
We invite everyone to rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our agenda consists of a consent agenda this evening, which is one vote. We'll vote for the 5 items. So prior to that, we will do our public forum. The individuals we have signed up is Tyler Jensen, Ron Ritchie, and Cole Carter. So if we want to go in that order, Tyler, would you like to address us first? That'd be great. If you will state, when you guys come up, state your name for the record so Camille gets it, and then we'll be good to go.
My name is Tyler Jensen. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as I said, my name is Tyler Jensen. I've lived on 800 West in the 1400 North block for 26 years. I'll try to keep my remarks brief, but I beg your indulgence so I can say what I've come to say. On July 21st, Niels Fugel left a door hanger informing me that they would be doing construction in my area, and it wasn't clear what they were doing, so I called the name of the person that was stamped on it, Gus Gomez, with a Florida area code. When I called Mr. Gomez, he informed me that they would be installing fiber optic cable through my backyard. I told him I would not allow that. He told me that they had permits and could not stop me. He texted me a copy of the permit. I called the inspector named on the permit. I told him I was opposed to having fiber installed in my backyard. He told me that he wasn't happy about it either, but he had no choice to approve it, saying, quote, "This came down from the higher-ups." I asked specifically who that was. He told me that it was the Director of Public Works and the City Manager. I was extraordinarily upset. The permit had been filed just 14 days prior on the 7th of July. According to the inspector, it was a citywide 7-phase, quote, network upgrade by CenturyLink to replace their copper network with fiber optic cable. The permit required a paltry $10,000 bond for a major citywide construction project that would bore fiber optic cable through hundreds of backyards. That evening I spoke with my neighbors. I posted my outrage on Facebook. I shared that and emailed it to everyone running for office in Mapleton. I raised a big stink about it. On Tuesday morning, to their credit, this is on the 22nd, the mayor, the city manager, and the director of public works arrived at my home to discuss it. I met with them in my yard. I'm sure they'll agree that I gave them an earful, letting them have it with both barrels. Loaded full of choice language, learned on the farm, and from my coal miner cousins. I want to thank them for taking my verbal abuse professionally and as calmly as possible. In that conversation, it became apparent that the mayor and the city manager knew nothing at all about this project. They denied forcing the inspector to approve the permit. Somebody was outright lying to me. I didn't care who. Later that morning, the inspector denied having told me that he was forced to a permit. That was, in fact, a definite lie, but set that aside. The 3 men who met with me that morning formed an immediate plan of action at the direction of the mayor to get construction stopped immediately and begin discussions with CenturyLink. I want to thank the mayor for taking action at that moment. Later, I followed up. I want to thank the Director of Public Works for being responsive to my inquiries for status updates on that process. I want to thank the 2 council members who responded to my emails. I imagine they have had a number of conversations with residents about this. I know I have. I did not relent. I encouraged my neighbors to call the city to make their voices heard. My understanding is that a number of them did so on Wednesday, the 23rd. I want to acknowledge and thank the city manager and the Director of Public Works for calling them back to let them know they were working on it. I know they did this because several of those neighbors shared that with me. I, for one, do not want public utilities installed in my backyard where there is a viable alternative. It will surprise many to know, as it did me, that nearly every municipal lot in every Utah town has a 10-foot public utility easement on every border of their lot, including their backyard. I'm grateful that in most cases our public utility companies have been respectful and used the street-facing easement for their installations, allowing most residents the privilege and privacy of security in their backyards, free from the intrusion and security risks associated with having to allow strangers working for a utility company to access that yard at will. Let me conclude with some observations and recommendations for this council. This should not have happened. A 7-phase citywide installation of new fiber optic cable to replace copper should never have been approved by a single city employee without council and mayoral approval, especially not with a ridiculously low bond of only $10,000. I understand that the Director of Public Works acted as he believed the law required. I reject that as an excuse for approving the permit so rapidly and without notifying the city manager and mayor and this council on such a sweeping new construction project, regardless of CenturyLink's casual describing this as a simple network upgrade, as if, like a power company, they were just upgrading a few transformers. I regard this entire episode as a failure of elected leaders and the city manager to provide proper oversight of city employees and instill a culture guided by a single principle that I recommend to you now. It is this: before approving anything, ask yourself if you would want this done to you or your property. If the answer is no, put the rubber stamp away. Say no and run it up the ladder of authority all the way up to this body if necessary. I would respectfully recommend that this body take action to follow through with the Director of Public Works to ensure that if this project is to proceed, that it is done with respect to our private property and security, and my understanding is that is happening. I'd love to hear more about it. I would further suggest that this council adopt notification and consideration procedures, including public notification and opportunity for public input on such sweeping citywide construction projects to allow the public and elected officials to take appropriate governance measures to protect the rights and tranquility of city residents. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler, for your comments. This has brought up a lot of discussion for us. I can see both sides. Our Public Works Director, Rob's done a great job. When somebody's talking about installing fiber, especially in our city, absolutely, we want to know about it. So we've had these discussions. They're aware. They felt like they did take it up the appropriate change that they would with a standard franchise agreement from a standard utility provider, which is mostly governed by the state law. I agree with Tyler that if a citywide project like this to be brought up, then we want to be more involved and having say. Now, that doesn't mean we can't stop them do certain things if they have the right to be there, and in fact, they have a franchise agreement in place. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. We've already had these discussions and these meetings. We've had 2 or 3 meetings already with Lumen and CenturyLink. They are on hold, and they're going to be on hold until we go through this whole thing. So they should not be in your backyard. They should not be on your property. They should not be in the city unless they were repairing something that they already dug up. That's the only instruction they've been given. That's all they're allowed to do. So please, I told Tyler this at his house, and I said, hey, as long as I'm here, there's no reason to get high blood pressure. If there's a mistake or there's something happened, I'm telling you right now, you pick up the phone and call me, and I'll be there within the hour if I'm here. If not, it might take me a minute, but I'll get on the phone and I'll fix it. I've done that for 7.5 years, and I'll continue to do it. So save yourself the frustration, because I know it can be extremely frustrating and emotional, but let me know. We'll get involved immediately, and we'll get it solved. So Tyler, thanks for reaching out to us, and we're on it, and it's a very serious situation we're taking seriously, so thanks. Ron.
Hi there, I'm Ron Ritchie, live on 700 West, and I'm primarily here to speak in support of what Tyler just said. I'm one of his neighbors, just a street over. I don't have a prepared statement that's as articulate and detailed as his, but I will state just a couple of things. Number one, I believe that state law allows for easements to serve the public good. And I'm certainly, agreeing to that. That being said, I have no idea why Lumen, CenturyLink, whoever they are, think they need to install fiber optic in this city when the city already has a fiber optic network. So, this doesn't pass the logic test for me. And I would love to see definitive action taken in the courts if necessary to shut down this nonsense. So that's point number one. Point number two is that depending on the circumstance in people's backyards, this is extraordinarily invasive. In my particular circumstance, it's probably been 10, 15 years ago. I was before this body and before the Planning Commission before that to do a replat of our subdivision. And what the situation I had was I had two lots, front and back. And there was originally a street on the master plan that allowed access to the back lots. Well, we got an approval to delete the street from the master plan. It would have been approximately 600 West, I believe. So you could probably look it up. I could give you dates if anybody's interested. But the result of that is that my two lots, now one lot, has that 10-foot easement, actually 20 feet probably, from both pieces, where there is a CenturyLink line right through the middle of my backyard. Right through the middle, not on the edge, in the middle. And, it's fine. It's copper, and it's there. I might add that the reason for state law to allow these easements is for vital infrastructure. I think we could all agree with that. This is not vital. This is spurious, unneeded, unwelcome, etc. So, that, in my unique circumstance, is the reason why I'm so opposed to this thing moving forward. I don't want them tearing on my backyard. They will cut electrical lines, sprinkler lines, you name it. It's just not a good thing. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. I agree with you. I think you'd both be proud if you attended the meetings we've had with Lumen and CenturyLink. Based on your comments, I've been very direct and probably a little over the top with them, but I'm not taking any chances. So thank you. Appreciate your concern there, and we share it. So if anybody in the neighborhood, anybody that you know of, sees something's not right, please reach out to us so we can address it with them.
Mayor, can you speak to what the anticipated timeline is or next steps? Like, we're waiting.
So the
Can you go
call
into
this
more
morning,
detail?
the last call happened this morning, and they have to go back and regroup and redo their whole thing. So we stopped everything, said, you don't have the stuff, you don't have the right information, you don't have the right stuff, you got to go back, regroup. And we had the same discussions. Why on earth you go in the backyard? Well, it's less costly. Well, we don't give a rip if it's less costly. That's not our problem. You don't do that. That's not an excuse. That's not a reason. So it's not good enough. Go back, regroup. If you want to come back and propose something to us, you're welcome to. We can't tell you no, but just know that we're holding our ground. So we don't know. Leslie, to answer your question, it could be in a week, could be in a month. They may decide not to do it.
They're going back to step
Yeah, they got to go
one. Okay.
back and regroup and whatnot. So, yeah. So we're on it. Thank you for bringing the information. Like I said, if you ever have an issue or question or concern, you reach out to us. We'd be greatly appreciated. All right,
I
Cole.
assume that that is not in the conduit, it's direct burial wire that they have.
No, so that was a whole another part of the discussion, and Tyler was confident that there was nothing in his backyard. And although what they represented is that they were replacing a utility, and then they later tried to tell me, oh, what we meant by replacing utility was something different. Well, Tyler was right. So what we instructed our team to do immediately, and I think they did it same day or the next day, is to go confirm, does the utility exist there? If it doesn't, we need to know that, so then I can report back to utility company, you guys are out of your minds. You don't have a utility here today. That's not an excuse. So we were able to work through that, but with Tyler.
I know in my backyard, CenturyLink is not in a conduit, it's just buried cable, so they'd have to dig it up
Yeah.
or bore it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I just wanted to make
then
sure
we-
that's understood.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
no conduit to pull it in.
Correct. Yep, so we're on it. We've got that all cleared up with them. They know exactly where we stand, and we'll just proceed and how they proceed, and we'll keep working on it. So, thank you. All right, Cole, you're up.
I apologize, I'm probably not as well-spoken as the last two gentlemen, but I'll try my hand. My name is Cole Carter. I was born and raised in Mapleton. Actually, my first job was for Mapleton Parks and Recs. I did a lot better job when I was 16 than Logan's doing now, but for a different item. I currently live in Mapleton with my wife and 3 kids. Plan to stay here forever. We enjoy and love Mapleton. This first city council meeting I think I've ever been to, but I watched part of the last one, and I had some just questions and concerns about some statements that were made in the last city council meeting that I would like to address. Theron, when it came time to vote for some work that was being done for the public through a public bid process, stood up and said things like there was hidden items, there was a lack of transparency, he had major concerns and was uncomfortable with how things were going. My question, Theron, is when you say words like that, you're alluding that somebody is hiding something, and I would like to know who you think is hiding stuff at the city when it comes to the public bid process.
I think it's obvious who was intended to be the thought, but I think I will go back to.
So you believe someone in this room or someone at the city is hiding stuff when it comes to the bid process?
No, if you go back to listen to it, all I said in my written statement was that I wanted to make sure it was clear that it did not appear that anyone was trying to hide anything.
But later you said you had major concerns about the process. I'm asking who those concerns are about. Who are you concerned in?
It was pretty
in
clear
handling?
that my concern was that the mayor's companies were bidding on jobs. We were using taxpayer dollars to pay for those jobs, and then it was clearly a conflict of interest. However, and I stated that yes, while the mayor clearly did the things he should have done.
So you think he did it the way that it should have been done, or you are alluding that it's being hidden and not transparent? Because those were the words you used, that things were being hidden, that there was a lack of transparency, you were super concerned, you felt really uncomfortable about the situation. But I think when you use those words, as I hear them, you're alluding that someone is doing something unethical or dishonest.
What I was alluding to is this. I believe that if an elected official or an employee owns a company and we're going to bid on taxpayer dollars paying for that project, then I personally believe, and there's a lot of citizens that agree with me, that it should be announced, not just submitted on a piece of paper and turned into the city recorder.
Gotcha.
That's my intent. And that was
So you don't think that anyone did act unethical, dishonest, or broke the law?
No, and I stated that clearly in my statement.
Okay. My next question is, looking back at projects that Rhino has been awarded, it appears that they were $1.7 million low on one job, $58,000 low on another job, and more recently $18,000 low on another job. Moving forward with the statements that you said, do you feel like Rhino, if they are the low bid, should not be awarded the job?
No, I didn't say that.
No, I'm asking you, do you believe that moving forward, that if Rhino is the low bid, that they should not be awarded the job?
No, and that's why That's why I made a motion to vote in favor of awarding them the job in the
Okay.
last meeting.
But you see how that appears when you make a statement and say things like hidden, transparency, concerned, and that it makes you feel extremely uncomfortable, that you're alluding that there is some sort of dishonesty that makes you feel uncomfortable.
The uncomfort comes when the person that owns the company is the leader of the city. That's
Okay.
where the uncomfort comes. I've never alluded that anybody did anything illegal. I stated
Well, when you
very
say
clearly.
there's a lack of transparency, there's hidden things, that you have major concerns, and you're extremely uncomfortable, that is alluding that something is not being done correctly.
I'm alluding and stating very clearly that there is something uncomfortable about the situation. That's all I'm saying.
Got it. Lastly, I just want to state a few facts just to clear the air. Rhino Excavating has been in business for 7 to 8 years, has done several $100 million in revenue. Mapleton City is less than 1% of that overall work. We have saved them, by being low bid, Rhino has saved the city $1.8 million. The biggest project we received as Rhino was a PI line from Maverick to the Abington. Are you familiar with that project?
Yep.
Are you familiar with who is currently doing the same water line in the same area? Who the current excavator is?
The same water line or a
No,
culinary
the
water?
culinary water line, we did the PI line. Are you familiar with who that was? Or who that is?
Who the current company is?
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the company, but I'm.
Newman Construction. We took third on that. We also bid that project and did not receive that job.
You bid that project, is what you meant.
Yeah, we bid that project and we're not awarded it. We weren't low. That same scope of work, I would just like to state that we had not one change order on that entire job. I noticed on the meeting today that Newman's been there for approximately 1 to 2 weeks and has submitted a $61,000 change order. So just to be clear, we did the same project, the same alignment, just a different pipe, and we didn't have one change order over the 3-month project.
And I applaud that, and I am grateful for it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just clearing the air because I think like you, there are narratives being created, and I believe that people like you aren't squashing the narrative. I believe that you're pandering to people that don't understand the bid process, and it is deceitful when people use words like hidden, transparency, major concerns, and uncomfortable. So anyways, I would just like to state that I think that those approaches are hurting citizens that work here. Contracts that Rhino has been awarded.
Paul, it's me. Hi. As much as I appreciate the conversation and seeking clarity in this, what I don't want to do is turn this meeting into a political
Okay, I
situation.
agree.
So
Agree.
I appreciate you speaking up. If you want to wrap up, because I don't. This is
Facts are good, for
maybe a different conversation in a different forum.
Appreciate it. Last thing I was just going to state is several jobs that have been awarded. We've used Thorpe Burial Vaults that is from Mapleton. They have a company in Mapleton. They provide all the precast. WPI does all of our concrete. They're from Mapleton. And Eccles Paving offices in Mapleton. They do majority of the work on those projects as well. So anyways, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thanks, Cole.
Thanks, Cole.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a political situation. What I think, and I think this is what Theron meant, and he tried to say it was, it makes him uncomfortable and causes him to think, okay, it's the mayor's company, and the mayor has ownership in the company, and they're doing the work, which is a valid question. It's something you want to concern. My question is, and really, I just want to know for myself, and I laid it out for the council, and you guys know this is no secret, I tell you all the time. If that company does the job, fine. If they don't, it makes no difference to me. And I know all 5 of you can say there's absolutely no pressure to vote for Rhino to do the job. You don't feel obligated. You're not being arm twisted. I know you can all say that, and it's clear. And I think what Cole would ask me some questions, and I think what he was alluding to is saying, if it's uncomfortable to have Rhino do the job, then is it more comfortable to pay more money and have someone else do it? Is that more comfortable to pay more money and not have Rhino do it? Is that more comfortable to the council, or is it, you know what I'm saying?
And let me
That way we could just
throw a
sell it.
comment out, because we could spend forever on this, and I really just don't want to. So I'm going to. The reality is, in the position we're in, and Theron's in, and I agree, while the words might not have been as perfect as Theron intended, I don't they weren't malicious. I talked to him afterwards too. We've had this, so I don't.
And I don't think I said the word major concern.
So
I said there are concerns.
whatever
and
whatever
I
it
was concerned.
I didn't receive it the same way, Cole. But I appreciate that if you are especially an important person in a company that has been villainized. So I want to acknowledge that. So here's the deal. In politics, in elected positions, everything you do could be perceived as a conflict of interest. You can look at what I do in a venture capital incubator space where I work with organizations and somehow there will be some problem. If a banker is elected as a mayor of Mapleton or Eddy City, take Springville for example, and that banker finances something in the city, anything in the city, that could be perceived as a conflict. If you own a pizza shop and the city staff orders from your pizza shop, there could be a conflict of interest. In this situation, what I've seen over the last 6.5 years, fortunate or unfortunate, whatever you perceive it as, we have a highly visible situation because construction affects all of our lives. I'm exhausted from talking about this, and yet I am so thankful for the benefits that come with navigating the conversation I have to have over and over, which is, what if it was a banker? What if it was a pizza person? So anyhow, clearly my filter is a little bit lacking, and this can be on YouTube for all eternity for my son to make fun of me later. But the reality is, you can make up a conflict with everything. We have an existing process to disclose, to present conflicts of interests. Everything was followed appropriately. It is okay if someone says, I don't want a developer as the mayor. That's okay. I don't necessarily want the mortician as the mayor. It's okay. But the reality is, if you're looking for a conflict of interest, you're going to find it with any one of us who's willing to be a public servant, because that's life. We're part of the community. We have jobs. There's money being exchanged everywhere. You could print T-shirts for the city, and suddenly it's a conflict of interest. So just give people grace, approach things with compassion and curiosity. For anyone online, I would just love to see a little more compassion and curiosity, just generally, whether it's with the mayor, whether it's with Councilman Garrett, any of our friends running for office. These people have put their lives on the line, their livelihoods, their everything to try and be part of this community, and they're doing it with good intentions, and I am thankful that there are people willing to step up for that. But if we could all just have a little compassion and curiosity and grace for each other, that would go a long way in this world right now. So acknowledged. That's my soapbox for the day. Mic
Thank you.
drop.
I appreciate
all
those
that.
comments.
Thank
Thanks,
you. That was
Jessica.
good.
I agree.
Thank you, Jessica.
Okay. All right, that's our consent agenda, or excuse me, that's our public forum. Not started yet here.
Jessica's forum.
Yeah. We'll move forward with our consent agenda items, which are the five items on the agenda that you've had a chance to work with staff on, ask questions, get to the bottom of. Is there anything on there you have questions about? If not, we'll look for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Councilmember Jones, a second by Councilmember Egbert.
Carlson, yes.
Egbert, yes.
Beck, yes.
Jones, yes.
Garrett, yes.
Great, we'll go for our administrative reports, and first let's have Destiny come up and introduce herself. We've got exciting news here. We've got our new communications master, and excited to hear from you, Destiny.
I am loving the content already, so I'm
Yes.
so excited.
So if you'll introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, and then tell us what you're excited about, your favorite food, whatever you want to tell us.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor and Council, for your time this evening. So I would like to officially introduce myself. I'm Destiny Skinner. I joined Mapleton as the Public Relations Specialist just over 2 months ago, and I brought 20-plus years of government experience with me. I stepped in during the busy lead up to Pioneer Days. What's that saying? Baptism by fire?
Drank out of a fire hose, good job.
It was a great week, and I enjoyed watching the community celebrate. So it was fun. I'm excited to build on the strong foundation laid by Madison. My vision for communication in the city is to ensure that every longtime and new resident feels informed, involved, and valued. Trust, transparency, and engagement are the cornerstones of effective public communication. And city branding across all platforms will reinforce Mapleton's identity and build trust through consistency. I'd like to expand communication efforts through targeted email campaigns using Everbridge. Residents would be able to opt in to updates like meeting agendas, construction projects, recreation programs, and community events, along other things. And then I will work closely with all departments to ensure accurate and timely information is available that reflects the full scope of city operations. Just going over the past 2 months, the social media reach has increased over 200%. And between Facebook and Instagram, we've gained over 350 new followers. And that's just on the city main pages. It doesn't include Parks and Rec, police, or fire.
Good job.
Thank you. But not all residents rely on social media. So that's when I would like to use the email, printed newsletters, social platforms, and the website to ensure everyone receives the information in their preferred way. Delivering consistent messaging across all platforms while always referring to the website as the official information hub is very useful for residents, and that way they always know the information is there on the website, no matter where they are. Public relations is about building relationships, and so I want our residents to see the faces behind the city, the people who listen, care, and are approachable. So thank you again for your time and for the opportunity to serve Mapleton.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you,
Destiny.
That's
Can I ask a quick question, a follow-up question? We've talked off and on over the years about how to use Everbridge, or Enbridge is the new, yeah, Everbridge. So what I'm hearing is that we'll be using it more frequently throughout the year. Is that correct?
We would like to, so we do need to look into it because we are a child product with Springville. So we might
Oh.
have to get our own licensing to be able to do that.
Okay.
But it is something we're going to look into.
Oh, I think that's great.
We want to make sure, obviously, in the past, one of the challenges has been is some of our citizens will reach out saying, hey, I thought this was for emergencies only. So if we're going to go out and promote this, we want to make sure we're only getting it to the people who want to receive it. And those who just want stuff for emergencies that.
And educate them that that's how it's going to be used, obviously, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
And the updates, that I would send out in email form or text form, they would have to opt into.
Right. That's
So,
I loved getting the 24th of July reminders. That was incredibly helpful.
good.
I didn't say, just kudos to her we were all worried about the magazine and she came in, a week before that thing was due out and she took it and ran.
Wow,
with it.
that's great.
We reviewed her content when she came in for the interview that she had previously done in Harriman City, and when we saw that, we're like, nice work, Destiny. You can pull this off in a week, no problem. She did.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Thank you. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, I look forward to working more with you and getting to know you more. Our brand that
Same.
we've gone through, I think a lot of people, I don't know that everybody fully understands that the brand exercise that we went through is so much more than a new logo. It is so much more than that. And there are 1,000,001 ways to activate that brand. And so I look forward to you'll probably block my phone number if I ever get yours, so.
No.
Just ideas, just thoughts. that's
Absolutely.
all.
Yeah.
Some of the discussions that I've been having, Destiny, that I think will really go a long ways. On the south end of town, our city's being doubled essentially with the amount of doors from these previous 3 developments that were previously agreed to. And they're finally building, as we know, and we're seeing it on our building permits and our growth and whatnot. Big topic right now. And what I found out from those people and talking to people on the west side, north side, east side, south side, one of the questions I would always ask is, do you know I had a shirt on earlier, had it on. Who has a Mapleton shirt on? Sean has it on. Do you know what that is? I would always have a hat on or a shirt, and I say, do you know what this is? And I never had someone look at me and say that they knew what it was. And I thought, we got to get, what we did during that process is so real. And you guys got to watch them. You guys get, we got to participate and watch those interviews and watch what people told us that are, born and raised here, lived there their whole lives. People have been here 20 years. And the content that came from that, I know that if everybody in the city got a chance to watch that, it will literally change your feeling about this city. It will solidify what you think you feel about this city. And know that what we did through that process was so critical to maintaining the feel of this city. It does it by itself. So I had this idea. And
Slice it.
yeah,
Slice
so
it up. Use it.
Leslie was in charge of that historic video that we did when we did the historic square. And I've said this before, but she had this idea to do it, and the people who were serving at the time got together. And I said, yeah, do a 5-minute video. Everybody will watch it, I'm sure. And she came back and said, it's 33 minutes. And I thought, you made a mistake. No one's watching 33 minutes of video. And she goes, just chill out and watch it. I started watching, I couldn't stop. When it was over, I'm like, I'd watch another 30 minutes. But it's so cool to hear the stories and why Mapleton is what it is. So I had this thought when I was with these people on the south end of town. I said, look, why aren't we getting this out? You guys have young kids, they're hustling them, whatever. Let's take the open air cinema down there, Logan, and set up their detention basins, set it up wherever they have an open park, invite these people out and show the video. And the kids can run around, do whatever, but have a city event that we go around to different places in the city and put it on the screen and let them watch it. It literally will change. And a lot of these people have been here a year, 6 months, 2 years,
Right.
And they don't know. They know they feel something different, but they don't know why.
Yeah.
And associating just the feeling with a field with a horse in it is not good enough. Because we love that and love the open space, and that's why we all like to drive through the city, and it's beautiful, and 1 acre or bigger lots, and blah, 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 and go on and on. And the fact is that the feeling comes from something much deeper. And the message is in those videos and in those interviews. And so if we can add a citywide event of some sort that puts the open air cinema there, if 50 people watch it and the kids run around and play and Logan pops popcorn, which he loves to do, then we got a successful event, and we have accomplished something that we won't be able to accomplish otherwise.
Yeah.
I have an idea on how we can mix it into the 24th next year, now that we've got the big LED screens and whatnot. It'll be really cool. But I don't mind people coming from outside our city to the celebration and them sitting there watching why we are who we are.
Yeah.
And we're proud of it, right?
Right.
And if you're going to come to that park, you might get a 15-minute video of who we are and what we're about. And so anyway, I've had these conversations with these people. We've been having conversations together, and so I think that it's critical that whatever it takes to get those out, we've got to get people to watch it.
Well, we've got 2 more days of raw footage with Mr. 2 included in that video footage that we can do a lot more things with. So all of this stuff, I love this kind of stuff.
Crucial that we get them to watch it, because I have to rewind the clock 8 years and think if I'm one of those people, I'm trying to think how you could convince me to watch it, and I'm not sure you have a way of doing that.
Can you get me the raw files? Because I am working with a tech company that will automatically transcribe them all, and we can use a snipping tool on it and do things automatic for us.
I don't have
content.
them as
Logan.
of right now.
We got them here at the city.
Get me some
Yeah.
files, and I can create some stuff that we can use
Yeah.
for content real fast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say we could do that, and then along with your little comment of splicing it up and doing little short videos.
And give them pieces to grab their attention
highlights.
that will take them to the video.
Yeah.
Because if we can get them to watch it, it will make
Yep.
all the difference.
For sure.
So,
I've
good
got a
job.
few other ideas, Destiny, for another time, okay?
We're going to need
Bring 'em
tomorrow for
on.
this.
Yeah, we'll book some time. We'll
So
book
anyway,
some
that's the
time.
biggest thing on my mind, and I think it's that crucial. Okay, any other questions for this?
I can take all of your raw files and make them searchable so we can actually get some relevant
Oh,
stuff.
perfect.
So, yeah, let's definitely.
That's what we need, great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That'll be
Any other
perfect.
questions for Destiny?
Just
For coming to
welcome.
Mapleton.
Yes.
Thank you.
Looking forward to working with you. Thanks.
Same.
Something so important about the job is that you smile, and I've never seen her not smile, so thank you, Destiny.
No pressure.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks. All right, Chief.
All right, I'm just going to be real brief on Pioneer Day and then let Logan take it from there because it's his show and he should be super proud of it. But just the public safety end of Pioneer Day, if you didn't get the report, I can send it to you, but really happy. Very minimal anything to report back, just little minor things here and there, nothing related to our events. So if you have any questions on Pioneer Day, I can certainly get you that report, but there's not a lot to it, which I'm happy to report. Want to talk a little bit about last council meeting. We had a resident come in and talk about concerns about speed on Mapleton Estates Drive. And since that time, between Public Works and I, we've had a chance to do four speed studies down there. So I wanted to report what those are to you. So if you can visualize Mapleton Estates Drive, it is the road that if you drive south on Main Street and drop off the hill and then go up towards the foothills, that's Mapleton Estates Drive. So the first study, which I call the North End study, is right where you drop off the hill, right at the bottom of that hill, where it connects with the trail in that area. The next one is further up the road, right where the accident happened that we were talking about. After that council meeting last time, I put the boxes where the residents asked me to put them. So the boxes were put where they want them. So, and then subsequently, Public Works came in and did their study and put them in the same spots. So here's the results. On the north end, where it drops off the hill, Public Works average speed recorded was 20 miles an hour, mine was 23. On the south one, up where the crash happened, Public Works average speed was 17, mine was 15. The 85th percentile speed on the north one, dropping off the hill, was 24 for Public Works, 29 for me. And on the south one, 21 for Public Works and 23 for me. And the 85th percentile is what traffic engineers, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, use to say what the speed limit should be, right about where it should be. Am I close on that?
Yeah, it's basically the 15% of people are going to speed no matter what, and it's at that point engineering isn't going to change it. And so from an engineering standpoint, you're trying to get 85% of the people to go the speed that you want them to go, the speed limit.
So the outlier speeds that we did have were in the low 40s, high 30s. Those were the outliers that we had. The highest speeds recorded were in the 40s and 30s. So I want to report that back to you. This has been given to them. That resident, they have those studies, they have that information, so I just wanted to report back on that.
Hey, John, sorry, I do need to correct one other one, and maybe we had misrepresented when we sent it to you. So the one that was at the intersection, that was the exact same location that you put it. Actually, Seth put it a little bit higher up to see if further up the hill, if the speeds were higher. So that one that was down lower where it may have sounded really off, it was because it was two different locations. The one where we had in the same locations had almost the exact same speeds. It's actually, we thought that because further up was on a steeper hill that speeds might be higher, they're actually lower. They're just less cars, so.
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that. So any questions on the speed stuff?
Have the residents been able to give you feedback on the final data?
No, I have not heard back from them since it's been sent.
No, but Chief, thank you. They came to the meeting, and I believe it was earlier that day, I got the text from Blake. He sent me a picture, he sent me the video, he sent me a text, I sent it to you, you were there within 30 minutes, and then they came to the council meeting that night. You'd already met with them, you'd already addressed it, it's such a big deal. And I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I gave the report up to Canyon. Within 30 minutes, I had an answer. I had back to this guy is a stud, I'm telling you, he gets it done. Chief, thank you.
Well, and I want to compliment those residents. They were actually really fun to hang out with down there that night. We joked around and had a good time. Those are good people down there. So that's the numbers that we have and the numbers.
Can you share how what their response was to getting that information? Are you at liberty to share? You don't know. You've just shared it. You've just given it to them.
So it's been sent to him.
Got it.
He had some follow-up questions that Rob answered for him, but when I say he, it was the initial person that sent you the email the night of the crash. He was our spokesman down there, and he was going to forward it to the rest of his neighbors, and I haven't heard from any of those. So a couple other things. Melanie's here. She is our Community Preparedness Committee president. We are going to meet in the next 15 minutes with our committee. We have an event in September, so I'll get you some information on that. That is in conjunction with the Public Safety Night Out. You'll start to see some other cities do it now in early August. Ours is early September, so that will be coming. So we'll deal with that. And then not so fun news. We had a little crash today. One of our police trucks got in a little accident. It's not the officer's fault, but we got a truck that's a little bit dinged up. It's not out of commission, but it doesn't look real pretty right now, so we'll get some work done on that. So nobody's hurt or anything like that. Thanks.
Also, Chief, thanks for your preparation for the 24th. I know a lot of preparation goes into it with all the plans that have to be put together, and I think that's a big reason why things go smoothly, because the guys are organized, they know what they're doing, they're in place, and we're being proactive to prevent, because if you didn't do that, that's 1600 South and 800 West, and this Main Street in Maple, it'd be a disaster. But it's so well organized, and please report back to the guys. They're professional, they do a good job, they interact well with the public. It's such a big deal. And that's, I mean, I have to give you the credit for that, because that's how you treat people, and you're a leader, and they want to follow and lead and do it the way you do it. So thank you very much. It makes a major difference.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up, and I just do want to say I'm super proud of the Public Safety Department. I did watch them in the intersection, interacting with kids, and I'm super proud of them. They did an awesome job. And to add on to that, you guys are going to hear this in just a minute. The Pioneer Day Committee, both internal and the external committee, is unbelievable. It's so fun to be a part of that. It's not just work, it's fun to hang out with those guys because they care. Those committees are awesome. We are really lucky to have that. So the reason it goes so good is that's what I love about working for Mapleton. It is a team atmosphere. So thank you for saying that, but that is a team-wide, city-wide compliment, so thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Okay, Logan.
Yeah, so a lot of Pioneer Day stuff. And I just want to echo what Chief said. I can't thank the volunteers, our executive committee, our internal committee, all of the volunteers that help make things happen. We couldn't do it without the community members stepping up and helping with it. So, and then also city staff, everybody is, that week it's awesome because it's that other duties as assigned thing on all of our job descriptions, and everybody doesn't take that lightly. And whether it's public safety, public works, fiber, every department pitches in to be able to get things done. And to me, that's what makes it such a fun celebration, especially for a city our size. I mean, I talk to a lot of my colleagues and what they do, and a lot of them are just like, man, I can't believe you guys have that big of a party for that size of town. But it's because we have great people that are willing to step up and help and do a great job with it. So with that, I do want to give credit to Destiny. She has been awesome. It was definitely a stressor for mine when Madison officially said, hey, I'm taking a new opportunity. We were obviously super excited for her, but then anxious for a replacement considering that timeline. And I want to give kudos to Destiny. She's been awesome. She's came right in. She's been flexible. She listens. She inserts where she feels is needed. But the magazine definitely, without her, that wouldn't have been able to get together as well as it was and on time and delivered, when we wanted to. So just want to give her another shout out. And then I want to watch the video. This is our recap of Pioneer Day. Destiny was kind enough to help us put this together. It was posted on the city YouTube channel also for all the residents to enjoy. So those that are watching or haven't seen it, enjoy watching it. And then I've got a couple just statistics on stuff from Pioneer Days.
A couple minutes long. So
yeah, it's about 4 minutes. So you can see why it was such a party. It was fun. It was really good. So just a couple statistics that I wanted to go over. So with Placer, we obviously can get some. So just a couple statistics that I wanted to go over. So
How's that for listening to yourself?
yeah, sound pretty good.
I didn't think so.
You didn't think so? All right, I can start over. So with Placer, we get some data that I think is kind of interesting to go over. Now, I will say, obviously, when we do it, we can place geofencing over the 84664 zip code. We can do it over Iron Island, City Park, any of these areas to kind of, learn where people are coming from. So the week of Pioneer Days, from July 11th to the 19th, there was 70,000 people that came into the Mapleton zip code that do not originate from Mapleton.
Do you mind saying that one more time?
70,000
In the whole week?
in the whole week, from the 11th to the 19th.
Wow, wow.
On the peak visit was Saturday. There was 25,300 people on Saturday. Now, again,
That's
it's
still not counting current residents.
correct. Correct. Now, with those numbers, again, I'll dive deeper into the relationship with Pioneer Day specifically, right? They could have just come in to see family and that stuff, but still, regardless, a lot of people coming. At Iron Island, we had 9,500 people that were at the park. Of those visits, the Springville and Spanish Fork zip code accounted for about 36% of the visitors that came in. So, our neighboring communities, we welcome them, so that's great. And then past that, there was 35% of other Utah County cities, anywhere from Saratoga Springs south to Payson, Santaquin area. So about 71% of those folks coming in were from Utah County, which is kind of interesting. The median stay when they came into town was about 113 minutes. So that's averaged out across the whole entire week. That was the median time that they spent here in Mapleton. Volunteer hours, we estimated at over 1,600 hours of volunteer hours that went into that week. I started trying to figure out staff hours, and there was a lot. So it was a lot. So again, shout out to all of our staff for all the work that they did.
That's 1,600 just during the week, because all the time leading up to the preparations.
That is just during the week. Yep, that does not have anything to do with our, we start meeting, we'll have our debrief meeting this Saturday. We'll do a barbecue and feed our committee, and then we're right back into planning for next year. So yeah, that's just for the week of Pioneer Days. That was my estimates. And then in partnerships this year, including monetary and in-kind donations, we ended up with $94,400. So again, that's a great number for our city. Talk with a lot of folks that are asking questions on how we're getting that much income coming in from businesses and partners and people, and I think it's just a credit to the rewards that they get for being part of it, but then also the relationships that are built, and they're built on it's give and take on both sides. We're super grateful to have good partners and good people that are willing to help make sure that we can do the celebration to the magnitude that it is. So that's kind of in a nutshell with Pioneer Days. If you have any questions, I can go over anything. I've also got just a couple other things with some dates and things coming up, but if there's anything specifically on Pioneer Days.
Great job.
So I have a few comments, Logan. The gentleman that sang the national anthem at the Veterans Morning, do you know who that is?
Yeah, he'll be
Does he
there
live in the
Saturday
city?
night next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Does he live in our city?
He does. He lives in Mapleton.
I've heard, I don't know how many times I've heard that song sang, and I'm just telling you, I have never heard it like I heard it that morning.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Is it
That
Star
was
Spangled
the
Banner?
most moving, unbelievable national anthem I've ever heard. I mean, I was like in awe. I'm like, I was looking at you, I was looking at other people. I'm like, is everybody else feeling the same thing I am? Because you must not have blood running through your veins if you don't, because I was amped up. Like, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It was
And
really
so
great.
please hold on to him.
Yep.
We've got some ideas for him. And please tell him thank you. maybe we can do something else for him. It was that good.
Yeah,
Free
I-
car washes, I don't know, something. Please, just give him something. The guy just did an unbelievable job. It literally set the tone and the mood for those veterans sitting there. That was the best thing that happened at my meeting, in my opinion. I mean, everybody did a good job speaking, but that was irreplaceable, unbelievable. 75 volunteers this year, is that right? About, how many are in the committee? Or how many showed up to volunteer?
It was probably around 100.
100.
Yeah. So
100
we have 6
volunteers.
on our executive committee, and then after that, event chairs and other people that come in.
I love what Jessica said earlier. It's like, just be a little kinder and just maybe be a little more thoughtful and maybe get educated before you make a comment and don't listen to other people. This is real stuff, and we got 100 people showing up to give their personal time to this cause. For what? They don't have to, right? And we all have a million things going. We don't have to, I mean, that's just a pain in the butt to show up and do that, right? On top of everything else. And the EHATs, and I mean, they did a great job. So please thank them on our behalf. And then again, the sponsors, to raise almost $100,000 in a city our size, come on. Go talk to Springville, go talk Spanish Fork, go talk to those other guys. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So I would just hope that we would take an extra breath and just think about what you're saying before you say it, or consider typing something that, look, we do this stuff because these people are willing to give of their own time and their own stuff. I know that people will talk the talk. These people are walking the walk. These people are where the rubber meets the pavement. Without that amount of money, we don't do some of these things, you know? And so please thank all those people, and I'll be at the meeting and we'll review that and thank them. But one thing that was really cool that we were sitting there on Saturday, and my in-laws had not come to this celebration, and they're pretty observant, my mother and father-in-law. And so about, I don't know, starting to get dark at the park, and I turned and said, what do you guys think? And they're like, this is unbelievable. Where are all these people coming from? This is crazy. And my father-in-law's like, oh, that's crazy. And I asked my mother, I'm like, so what do you think? And she goes, what I cannot believe, she's pretty observant. She goes, what I cannot believe, I've been sitting for 2 hours, and every person that walked past me has got this huge smile. They're all excited. I don't see anybody here that's upset, has a frowny face. He's like, this is such an unbelievable vibe that I don't know where else you go to get this, you know? And just everybody's happy. So that's such a big deal. And you got people like police chief, he doesn't have to act like a normal person, but he does, dancing like a silly guy. But then it helps you realize the guy is just a normal guy, right?
Yep.
But he's given of his extra effort to be extra good at what he does, right? So everybody, staff, I haven't said anything about the rest of the staff. You guys do an unbelievable job, all the effort, everything. Thank you. Makes the job easier. I happen to see a little more inside of what you guys actually do and put forward to it. And so let's do it again next year. We'll make it even better. Good job.
Thank you.
While we're on the subject, sorry to go to next year, but next year, July 24th falls on a Friday. Our vision's been in years past is to stay on a Saturday, so that would put us on the July 18th. But as we met as a committee, in-house committee, still the proposal was to stay on that July 18th.
I
based
thought
on-
that's what we decided a few years ago,
Yeah, so.
because there would be a few years where it falls on the day, right? Yeah.
So we'll start fielding calls soon on people.
I've already had a
getting ready
couple.
For next year. So if you're okay, that schedule would be then, what do you think, Lo? We'd be July 10th. That would be the Friday before. And then the ending on Saturday, July 18th. If not, you're moving to July 24th on a Friday. You could start on July 17th. And it's a little tricky. That Friday's a little intriguing.
Yeah.
So what do? Do you do the celebration on a Friday and not a Saturday, and then run it on the 24th on Friday?
That could be an idea.
Being that it's Friday, I wouldn't mind doing the celebration still on Saturday the day after.
We
that's
did talk a
close
little
one.
bit about this, then we'll put us back where other cities are celebrating that same
At the same
night.
time,
but
yeah.
that might not be a bad thing either, but anyway, yeah, we're pretty, right, it's up to you.
What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, that's a good question, thanks.
No pressure.
I would actually love to see a social poll on
Yeah.
it before, like, could we just not make the call and just see what the community engages on this? Because there's a win on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, some people love that we don't take off their day of work. There's that, but it also doesn't have to be attached to the state's Pioneer
Yeah.
Days. These are Mapleton Pioneer. So
Yeah.
I can argue both. I don't necessarily have a preference. I'd be happy with both, but I would be really interested if the community has any strong preferences. If we can throw up a poll for a week or two, Destiny's here.
And when it's
I would be
50/50, then we have to make the
fascinated.
decision.
People, this year, the feedback I got was people were like, why the heck are you doing this on the 19th? And then after I got feedback, like, that was great. I still have the 24th as
Yeah.
a family day. Like, this is unbelievable. Thank you, right? And there's a lot of things. It's getting toward the end of summer, and the later you get toward the end of July, there's more things happening, family vacations, all that. So I was worried about doing it on the 19th, but I thought it turned out great. And all the feedback I got was, that was awesome. You got it done before the 24th. Now we do what the state, days of 47, we go Spanish Fork, we can do whatever we want after that, or do it as a family day. So I like doing it before. I mean, obviously, if 24th is on Saturday, it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe not, but
It'd be great with a
Yeah.
poll to educate a Spanish, like, some of the surrounding communities already have theirs set to say, okay, considering this,
Yeah.
if the rodeo in Spanish Fork is this, and this, and this, this.
They stay on the 24th, no matter.
So they're,
they never move.
they never, yeah, that's why we said we'd be willing to come. So, anyway, you choose if you want to do a poll or not, but I don't have a
I
person.
think it would be an interesting thing to put it out there, just for even for some
We just have to be
conversation.
willing to listen to it.
Yeah.
If
Sure, yeah.
they come back and say, I just know there's such a large group who likes to do the Spanish, the rodeo stuff.
Yeah.
Too, that,
I remember talking
If we're
about this a
flexible.
few years ago, and we brought this up, and I believe I may have asked the question, are we going to move it if it's on a Friday or Saturday? And it was decided, no, let's keep it, keep it consistent, and I do think there's some merit to that, but I'm indifferent either way.
That was the plan.
the celebration on Saturday, the 25th, or Saturday, the 18th.
Councilman-
I was worried about it until we did it, and now I'm like, the feedback now is coming in is like, it's great.
Reed had a,
Already,
Going to say, I think we need to keep the main part on the Saturday regardless.
Yes.
yeah. So then what did you say if it was the Saturday before, it's the 10th to the what, 18th?
so you'd start on Friday, oh, go ahead. I say you start on Friday, July 10th with pickleball tournament, et cetera, and then you'd end on Saturday, July 18th,
Just 6 days prior.
6 days prior.
Can you give us one more council meeting?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's no pressure on our side.
Everybody go out and talk to people, and do your little messaging and see what you can get for feedback, and then let's come back and try and pull it
I'd be
through.
real curious, having born and raised here, I never celebrated the 24th of July until my parents moved to Mapleton. And the park thing started back in the olden days when the helicopter would hover 10 feet over the kids.
Now it's like 100 feet.
Right. To your point, this is a Mapleton celebration and as much, more so than it is even a state celebration. So I think we can pull it off either way.
I like the staff having their 24th holiday too off, and so if you do it prior, they get that day off with their families.
point.
And I mean, it's 1,800 hours they're putting in on that day. Let's give them the 24th as
And that is
their holiday. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a big point.
Yeah, my thought has always been a little bit kind of, everybody's thoughts are, Pioneer Day is really a state holiday. The way that we've gravitated it towards makes it so it's still our version of Pioneer Days. So,
And I like
But
that,
we
that
can-
it's ours.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, maybe, and it's ours.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, we can absolutely, we can report back on our next one.
Sound like this group's going to go out and about, talk, and then.
Just think
Okay,
about
well,
it.
do we want to ask? Because, if we're positioning this as being we
The only
don't have
problem
to
is-
be on Pioneer Day.
The only problem is the sampling that you get, right? If
Yeah.
we'd probably have to put like a real survey together and really try to get it.
Well, 70% are from outside the city who come,
Oh.
so maybe we don't really put a poll out there. Or maybe we'd get a better sample if we just pull our own system. I don't care either way. I think that you have a great point about letting our staff have that day too. So that's interesting. And yeah.
So do you want to, is everybody be on board, just move forward the week
Yeah.
before?
I
for now?
would. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Reed, you good with that?
I'd say so.
Okay.
I'd say
You got
so,
it.
better than after the fact.
Never mind, Destiny. Just kidding. The message is save the date. Here's the date.
That's right.
Yeah, she already did. The
Okay.
poll's already out.
I guess the next year it's on Saturdays on the 24th, so does
Yeah,
that make it difficult to get police helping at that time with Spanish Fork?
Makes it a little trickier, but
So honestly, we don't get a lot out of Spanish Fork, understandably so.
Regardless, okay.
So we don't use that
Yeah.
much anyway.
It makes,
They're willing to help, don't get me wrong, they're willing to help, but they're tied up now.
I understand.
yeah.
I just know that might be too much going on right here.
We got officers from Provo South, the Spanish Fork, dealing with their stuff.
We do need to figure out a better way to map out Ira Allen. I think it's time to get a robot painting 10 by 10s and have citizens of Mapleton be able to reserve a spot online, have a front section that's by reservation numbered and a back section for people.
we
I think-
We don't need to solve it now.
I
but
think
there's
you're
a
onto
solution.
something, and I've got this list for you when we go to our,
Yeah, we're going to
That's
report
the-
to you,
Yep.
Mayor. was-
That's
got
the
it.
biggest thing that I'm like, all right, time to fix that.
It's tough. Yeah, it is.
it's a hard
tough.
thing.
Good luck.
But-
May the odds be ever in your favor.
I think there's a way we can do it.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again. Thank you for the support and for your attendance during that week. It was awesome.
Thanks, Logan.
Just a couple of quick things. So City Park, we'll get started on that. I just want to make sure that everybody knows with concerts in the market through the month of August, there will be no disruptions with the construction. So when we met with them, that was the intent, was we want to make sure and keep that experience as good as we possibly can. So they will focus their efforts on other areas with the infrastructure where it's less disturbing. Then the market will be moved in September. It'll get moved over here to City Hall. So that way we do have the time to get the infrastructure in, because we're going to move Scarecrow, which is typically at City Park. We're going to move that to City Hall as well. That way we're ready for lights on December 1st. So,
The only thing with that concerts in the park, we might be messing with the restrooms as far as taking those down and relocating.
yeah,
so.
we actually just worked through that. I think we found a different path for the sewer to be able to leave the bathrooms open to the end of the
Oh, good,
season. So
good.
that shouldn't affect it either. So that should be really good.
When you move the two events here to the city building, whereabouts? Is it just going to be in the lawn around the building or out in the parking lot?
It'll be out in the front side. Yep. So our plan is to do some temporary parking on the west side, actually paint some lines so there's spots for people to park. We've obviously got stuff out back now that is a little bit easier and noticeable. And then try to use the horseshoe, I guess is what you would
Yeah.
call it, to try to get everything in that way.
Cool.
So.
I like it.
So nothing, the pumpkin patch would still take place the way it has
Yes.
been? There will be just nothing at the city park?
Correct.
Here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then on our shop, so as you've seen, we're getting close to finishing up. It looks great. We're super excited. We are just waiting for Rocky Mountain Power to set their transformer. We've kind of got they've given us a couple different things with the fires and different stuff that have come up. So that's my thought, but August 14th is when we're hoping to energize the building. So we'd like to do a ribbon cutting on September 3rd. So if you want to put that on your calendars, that is the night of a council meeting. So we want to do an open house from 3 to 5 and then do the ribbon cutting at 5:15 prior to the council meeting.
That's
So,
cool.
We'll keep you posted as
Yeah.
that date gets a little closer.
Yep.
That'd be good.
And then just a couple other quick things just on projects. So we've finished up over at Harvest Park. We've got all of the new flooring in, finished the bride's room upstairs, and got all new painting that was just finished up last week. It looks really good, and I think it's commercialized it to help us maintain it long-term, so it looks really, really good over there. Our bike park, just an update on that. So we've started down the process with our design. You'll see another round of some public engagement coming soon to try to get, any last bit of feedback on that. And then, with the funding, that's been a big topic on just making sure we can try to find funding for it. So we submitted a letter of interest to the Utah Outdoor Rec for their, the Outdoor Recreation Initiative, which 30,000-foot view is they have a bunch of grants and different programs. This program is for entities or organizations and/or projects that fall outside of that scope. This kind of helps make up that difference. So we submitted a letter of interest to them. This week, actually heard back from them that they want us to actually apply for the funding. So we're applying for $2.8 million for that funding. So we'll keep you posted on that. I feel like we have a really good package to put together that will hopefully, bode well with the scoring committee and things. So I'll keep you updated on that one. And then lastly, just Moonlight Half's coming up on September 5th. In the past, we've had some help from a few of you at the pond. just want to extend that invitation out as well. If you're available and want to help, just shoot me a text or email me and I can get you all the details and stuff to come and help with that. So with that, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Logan.
Thank you, Logan. Great work. Good job. Okay, Sean? Nothing, Rob?
Yeah, we're just about to get a lot busier on Mapleton streets, both with streets projects and with the water line we got going along the highway. So the highway should be done in the 1600 South intersection after tonight. They're planning to pave that through the north end of the intersection. The next step is going to be moving next week. They're going to do the 800 South intersection and try to get that done next week, and then they'll connect the two in between. So that'll be going on. 300 West projects is going to start construction next week. 800 West and Maple Street, and then the 800 North intersection improvements should be starting within the next week or two as well. We just finished up with the HA5. There's a couple of things they need to touch up at the end of the project, but the bulk of it is done. The mill and fill, Dallas, you probably got or may have gotten a notice that they were going to be doing it this week, because one of them is in your neighborhood, but we just got notice that their mill machine broke down, so they're actually pushing it till next week, and they'll send out new notifications to all the residents adjacent to where they're doing it. I'll be milled next week, and then they'll come after the next week or two after and do the paving on that. And then it's currently scheduled for September is when the microsurface will come on Slant Road, 1600 North east of Main Street, all of North Main Street, and then a section of 400 East that includes the covering up that trench. So, yeah, just a lot going on over the next couple months.
Okay. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for being on top of that. In case there are concerns or questions, you can answer them for us. So, okay, Reed?
I think things at the transfer station seem to be going quite well. The new building is doing amazing, better than we thought. And also, just as a note, it received a National Tilt-Up Building of the Year award, which I thought was quite major that was noticed.
That's cool. Have they mentioned anything, Reed, about the flies? I've had complaints. People have complained to me saying that when you go down there, there's so many flies that it's like really bad, and they're swarming you. The question I have is the county mention anything about any kind of abatement that they'd be willing to try there with whether they're overhead spraying or doing anything else? Have you heard any conversation about that?
They're looking at some things, but they don't want to really do anything that would, affect breathing for the people and stuff like
Sure.
that.
Yeah, okay.
Is it worse than, you're hearing it's worse than it was before at the old transfer station?
Well, the old transfer station was pretty much outside. Now they've got it inside, and
Oh,
so
that's what gets trapped.
I think the flies swarm the building and trying to get in, and then, it affects right around the building and then inside. So it's just some complaints I've got, and so I wonder what the county's ideas are, what they're going to try and do to try and minimize that, but maybe in our next meeting.
I'll
you can
bring it up in our
bring it
next
up.
meeting.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Reed. Jessica?
Next league board meeting is on the 18th, so we'll see kind of what's coming up. The next conference is October 1st and 2nd, so that'll be their annual in Salt Lake. So put that on your calendars. In addition to the event Chief mentioned with the community preparedness, we also have a November 8th event, and that's going to be the Self-Reliance Fair and Food Drive. So that's partnering with the Youth City Council on their food drive. So we'll try and get everybody to kind of come to this facility and work on that. You'll hear more details about that as well. That's it.
Great, thanks, Jessica. Leslie?
No report.
Theron?
Not for me either.
Camille? Corey? Oh, nothing. Wow, all right. Well, thanks, everybody, for being here, and thanks for your participation. We'll look for a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Jones, second by Councilmember Egbert. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh.